And very good evening to everybody. Welcome to this next in our live stream sessions. This is Christopher Daigan coming to you from our home in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. It's a very, very chilly, wintry evening. It's been a very, very cold day or two here. And we're in the middle of load shedding, but that doesn't affect us anymore. Thanks to my partner Barry, we have a hybrid system that consists of solar energy, and as well as a number of inverters kind of storing the power. So in fact, load shedding is a thing of the past for us, apparently, which is absolutely amazing. And we can continue with our live streams without any issues. Having said that, I see the air conditioner has just suddenly sprung to life, so I'm going to get rid of that. I don't know why. We can't have that going on in the middle of this. It's been actually air conditioning on the heating today. So this evening's program, another in our session of Piano Hour. And this evening we have something really special. It's been very interesting, very exciting, a lot of work to put this all together, but I think we're going to be presenting something quite unusual and very engaging and very beautiful for you to watch and listen to this evening. As most of you know, my partner Barry's been away for 6 weeks. He came back early last week. And I missed the stream on Saturday night because of the concert that I was doing at the Baxter Concert Hall in Cape Town. And so we decided that this evening for Piano Hour, we'd present a selection of music and images. I'm going to be playing music in the Mozaic setup as I normally do, a little bit longer than maybe you used to, but I'll be telling you only about the pieces of music after I play them or telling you what they are. However, during the performance, Barry is going to share with you some of the video footage that he took in his recent trip to the deserts, the Karoo, the Kalahari, and the Namib Desert. And really, wow, extraordinary image. Prepare yourself. There's some very breathtaking images, some wonderful scenery, some wonderful video images going to be coming your way on this very live stream. For those of you who don't know, Barry Lovegrove is the author of the very famous, the benchmark of all desert biologists. If you ever visit the desert ecology, it's used as a textbook in various places around the world, several universities. The Living Deserts of Southern Africa was published, I think, 23 or 24 years ago. And it has been out of print for a number of years. It's very highly sought after. And the good news is that Barry has been working very hard in the last year and a half or so on producing a revised edition, and there on your screen you can see the old cover, the original Living Deserts. Many of you might actually have this. You might realize, well, I've got that book at home. Well, this is actually Barry, the author of the Living Deserts of Southern Africa, who's running the show and who's assisting, as always, with these productions of these live streams. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the cover of the new book, the revised edition, which is updated and completely rewritten, which is being released in September this year. And so part of the episodes and part of the idea behind Barry's trip has been to create episodes and a number of YouTube videos which are going to be linked to the promotion of the book, explaining in person. He shot himself, that sounds terrible. He went to the deserts to shoot the number of videos himself, talking to the camera all on his own, as well as taking the footage of various animals and the various elements that he needs to put together to explain this. And the other, not only video images, just to bring this whole session into very much the here and now. It's very chilly weather, it's very cold, and we live in the most beautiful part of the world. To contrast the desert scenes which you're going to see, a friend, Myles Ridl, sent via another friend or via a family member some magnificent pictures of the Drakensberg Champagne Castle, which we are going to be including in the stream later on. So to really bring you into this idea of bringing the music and the presentation right into the here and now, if you live in this part of the world, you'll know all about the chilly weather you're feeling. If you're not, if you're in Mexico or Turkey or England, you know who I'm talking to, then I'm sure you're enjoying the beginning of summer. So I'm going to dive straight into some music. So I'm going to tell you afterwards what these pieces are. I hope you're just going to enjoy the selection. These are some of my favorites of beautiful sounds, beautiful textures, and then Barry's going to bring up some of the images that he's chosen. We've put them together to match the music and the scenery as best as we can. And I hope you enjoy this first selection in our presentation of music and images. There in our first selection of 3 compositions, I started off with the Le Barricade Mystérieuse, the Mysterious Barricades by Francois Couperin. Beautiful piece for harpsichord that is much discussed as to what the real meaning of those barricades are, but certainly a very wavering and repetitive meditative pattern that comes through that music with this very rich texture. The second piece, a very sprightly Scarlatti sonata that I thought captured that activity and the alertness of the meerkats very, very well. And then this last selection, if it sounded familiar but not quite right, well, that was Mozart's clarinet concerto. Of course, without the clarinet, just with me playing the clarinet and accompanying at the orchestra at the same time. Rather difficult to put something you know so well together in a completely new way. And looks like little Lucy has popped into the picture. Lucy, do you also want to be on the live? Yes, no, of course. We can't only have desert animals. Do you want to go? You want to be friends? Look, you can also sit like a little meerkat. You can sit upright, or you can even wobble over. You can sit like a little meerkat, and you can wave your paws around, and your little ears go floppy, floppy to check that everything's all right. Hello, little Luce. How are you doing this evening? Luce. It's been very cold today, yes, and I know you've got an extra little jersey to keep you warm. You've got a little permanent blanket on. What did you do today, Luce? Nothing. Just nothing. Oh, you slept. Okay, sleeping is something. That's good. You had a very good sleep, and then you slept in the sun. Lucy, you are so sweet and soft, and I think you are due to go to Wags and Tails for a little parlor clip. Yes, I think you need. Yes. Yes, okay. We're going to have more footage. You can watch on the screen and see if there's anyone there that you know. Yes, a little Fried is going to give you a lick. Moving on to our next selection of music. I hope you're enjoying this combination of images and music. If you've just joined us, the images are from Barry, my partner Barry, who's running the show as always, back from his trip, and these images from his recent desert trip excursion to the deserts of the Nama, Karoo, and Kalahari. So on with some more music. rather energetic little piece of music there. That was a selection, or excerpt, should I say, from one of my own pieces called Conversations, which I thought approached and matched some of the energy, the energy of those images there. So many people have asked me for many years, in fact, many people have come up with this idea about the possibility of having a live classical music concert, a piano concert in the bush, in the wild at night, around a fire with a grand piano and classical music happening realistically right there in that space. And it's an amazing concept that is pretty much impossible to bring together, because to bring a grand piano into a campsite and to expose it to those elements of heat and cold and the dust, and it would just really not really be possible at all. And to have a compromise, yes, Lucy, I know, the compromise of having a digital piano or electronic instrument is just not the same. It just wouldn't be the same. But I think that, in fact, this... I'm coming to that, sorry. I'm coming to that. Just Lucy was demanding my attention. I had this idea. But I think what we're doing tonight is pretty much a good compromise. We've got fantastic music, piano is safe and sound, piano is sounding very great, and these wonderful images. So, and even Lucy's managing to enjoy it. You just know that every time I stop playing, you're entitled to come up for a little hugsy. Yeah, we even got a waggy tail this evening. So that selection that I played for you, I started off with the Respighi Nocturne, the Italian composer Ottorini Respighi, very celebrated and well known for his orchestral composition, including The Pines of Rome. After that, I played another Italian contemporary composer, Ludovico Einaudi, and one of his very meditative and very slight, very fragile piece of music that seems to almost not exist, called Una Mattina, or One Morning. And then, of course, ending off with that selection or part of the piece of music I called Conversations, which I had recorded on the album Midnight Blue with David Sayeras. But that is, of course, my solo piano version. And it looks like we've got another visitor here. Oh, yes. Everyone's coming up. Here is Wendy Pop. Hello, Wendy Pop. What did you do today? Oh, yes, you barked a lot. You went barking at everything. The neighbors, the monkeys. You barked and barked and barked and barked. Yes, I know you're a big barker, but you love to come through onto the live stream and say hello to everyone. Hey, Wendy Pop. Look how sweet you are. That was a real lixie. Thanks, Wendy. Okay. Whoops, microphone's gone. Back on our special stream. And I've got to say hello, we can't leave Frida out. Hello, Frida. Frida's in her Sharks jersey this evening. Hello, Frida Pop. How are you doing? Yes, you're loving it because you got some warm blankets. You've got a fire. You had a fire last night and the night before, and you're going to have a fire just now. And you're keeping very warm. You've got some very warm blankets to sit by the piano, and you're actually really enjoying it. You're enjoying the music, eh? Yes, it's very nice. I thought so too. There we go. Thanks, Frieds. Okay, off you go. Good girls in your basket. So for the last selection of music, some more images. And this time, not only video images, as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, Myles Ridl sent me, it was very kindly, thank you Myles, kindly sent me a number of photographs taken from Champagne Valley, of the Champagne Castle Mountains and Cathkin Peak, where he's currently residing. And I was so struck. I mean, there's such powerful image and such beautiful image of the region, this beautiful region that we live. If you're not familiar with it, this is obviously about an hour and a half from Pietermaritzburg, and it was taken yesterday or on Monday afternoon, which is explaining, or I think probably Tuesday morning actually, explaining the rather chilly weather. So if you're not sure why you're feeling a little bit chilly and you're in this part of the world, this is exactly what is happening. Beautiful. I mean, it's just incredible, the majesty of the mountains, but covered in these white blanket of snow. And the last picture with the ray of sunshine just gleaming across, absolutely magical picture, really fantastic image there from Myles Ridl. Thank you for allowing us to include these in our stream this evening. But I am going to include them, Barry's going to include them in conjunction with the next piece of music which I play, which I will tell you about afterwards. Bringing us to the last selection of this evening's music. That was Louis Daquin's Le Coucou. Some bird images there, and maybe not cuckoo images, but something about the flurry and the lightness in the music and the delicacy with the busyness seemed to me fitting to those images. I think there you saw of birds. Before that, I started that selection of 4 pieces with Ravel's beautiful pavane for the Infanta, the dead Infanta, the dead princess. And yes, Lucy, I know that you're there. And that was accompanied by the beautiful images of Champagne Castle and Cathkin Peak, as taken by Myles Ridl. And I went on to a piece of music, one of my own compositions, Midnight Blue, the Midnight Chorale from the album Midnight Blue, one of my own pieces. Then the Earl of Salisbury's pavane by English composer from the early 16th century, William Byrd, and ended off there with La Coucou by Louis Daquin, the 17th century harpsichord composer. So that brings us to an end of this evening's selection of images. All those images, those visuals, video images that you saw are from Barry's recent trip to the deserts of southern Africa. And as I said in the beginning, this is part of a project he is promoting, the relaunch, or the launch of his revised version, should I say, the rewritten, updated version of the Living Deserts of Southern Africa. So if you'd like to know more about that too, please keep in touch. Barry will be launching this series of YouTube videos, as well as probably doing more image music presentations like this, as well as a discussion. I have this idea that one day we can do an in conversation as part of our live stream series with Barry himself, because I'm sure many of you would like to know more about his work and his fascinating output as an author, as the author of The Living Deserts and also The Fires of Life, published by Yale University, which in 2019, and which last year was voted one of the top 4 science books in the world. So if you'd like to know more about that, there will be a website coming up, but Barry Lovegrove is the name to Google if you want to see a little bit more about that. So thanks, Barry, for supplying beautiful images and running the show this evening. Thanks to little Lucy and Frida and Wendy Pop for making a brief appearance. Thank you all for joining me. It's 7 o'clock. Our piano hour has come to an end, and I'm going to play out with a short improvisation. Of course, if you're able to support us, just a reminder, these streams are all going out free of charge. I am completely dependent on the income, generous donations, spontaneous donations from you, the viewers, to support me during this time. I have another concert next week in Pretoria on the 10th of June. and that will be organised at the Atterbury Theatre in conjunction with Charles Duplessis, if you're in that area. One of the 4 concerts, it's June, and this is the 4th concert I'm playing this year, so you can imagine not going to from 100 concerts a year to 4 in 6 months is a bit of a change, and but nevertheless I'm keeping going with our live stream series, and live concerts are certainly very few and far between, and only under very strict and controlled circumstances, which I agree with and I would encourage. That's why I am not even trying to achieve the option of presenting my own live concerts as I normally do. So look after yourself, stay well. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday for our in-concert session.